Today I have these Mongol, which are apparently vintage. They are by, I always forget how to pronounce that. Eberhard Faber. Faber is still Faber-Castell, right? And Faber-Castell is apparently one of the companies that this used to be a part of. Like this was like a family company collection. Faber-Castell, from my understanding, is like a combined company. But anyway, this company doesn't make these pencils anymore. I guess they don't make. This is the same company that made the famous Blackwing pencil. And so my wife saw these, and I was like, "Are they the Mongols?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are really old." She's like, "Well, I looked them up and they're vintage." She's at the thrift store as per usual, and if you'd like to try them, show them to everybody on a YouTube. And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool, because if not, you can always find somebody that needs them." So I have a bunch of colors here. Now, all of these colors, they're very old. All these colors there's quite a bit of color here. I don't want to sharpen these because they're older. So I'm going to put down some cards to draw on. Oh, and just as an FYI, since these are vintage, I just want to show you what I'm drawing on. These artist cards is what I plan to draw on, but I am going to do some testing to see what the colors look like, because it's older. I have nothing to base it on other than the barrels themselves, and they don't look like they match very well to the color that actually is on there. So I'm gonna put something here. I have some vellum. This is some vellum that was left over from cutting. It's not the right card size. It looks like it is, but it's not. Just FYI, it's a little small, so I didn't want to try to push that off on somebody. But I am gonna put this on here. I'm gonna swatch this. I'm gonna see what these colors look like, because like I said, they're old, and who knows what. I'm not gonna pretend like I know exactly the material science behind the aging of colored pencils, but I will just say from experience, the older stuff is less it works well. So just keep that in mind. I don't expect anything out of these at all. I don't know what to expect from them. Apparently they are sought after for some people who maybe they grew up with them. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it's like a Rose Art thing and they're not as good as we remember. Kind of. Now, Rose Art were always terrible. But I don't know if people look for these because they're vintage or because, they just want something nostalgic. In no particular order, I have a lot of colors to go through. Well, you know what? Let me count that real fast. Let me see how many colors are here. There's 23 colors here. So, and they have this extra white pencil, so I guess they were using that for laying down the drawing first. And I don't think any of these are other branded. I think these are all Mongols. Obviously, they don't have the original packaging on them, but they do look old. They look very, very old. So I just assumed somebody bought them a long time ago and kept them in their house somewhere. We have colored pencils in the house. Yeah, that's right. There is one barrel Prismacolor in here. Who'd have thunk? Look at the way this looks on the end. I don't know if you can see that, but it's all like chunky monkey. I think that's the only one. I forgot about that. So that makes 22 colored pencils here. So my guess is it came in 24 and it was missing 2. Okay, so let me just try to arrange these in some sort of color palette. Actually, you know what? I'll show you what I'm doing. All right, this is the gray. So these do actually have numbers and they do have color names on them. That's really nice, because these browns are really similar. If you're like picking through them really quickly, you might grab the wrong one. Kind of hard to tell. This is more of a red. See, like in my opinion, seeing them next to each other like this is weird. Get a better feel for colors. What? Let me bouncing these off of here. I'm trying to. Kind of handsy. Highly certain where to put this one. I'm just trying to color grade these, like I said, and I'm not sure if I'm doing it right where I want to be. Okay, I'll just leave these here, and then I'll put the blues on the other side of that. Here's a pink, and the blues, and here's the browns. So I'm going to start with, in no particular order, I'm just going to go with purple here. I'm going light. It's going to take me a minute to do this. That's bad. I know it's vintage-y. Vintage-ish. I also picked them for that because I wanted to see how these swatch together, so I wanted to have the colors be similar in tone. Well, similar in shading. Lime green. What does it say it is? Hard to read that. Oh, light green. I guess. I mean, it's old, so hate to see what I would look like as old as these are. They're still pretty though. Brown ochre. This looks like graphite pencil. Look at whatever. Well, we're just gonna run with this. No, it is brown. I'll be damned. That looks really good actually. Color is nice. Cool. Okay, so that yellow is a bit dead, or the yellowish color. It's like a yellow. It's like a school bus. Crayola yellow is what it actually looks like to me. It just says yellow, but it's definitely older looking. Okay, orange and orange, and the pink color. I don't know pink when it lays down. Oh man, bright actually. I expect that these are old as hell, so they're going to be hard, very hard colored. They're going to be hardened quite a bit from age. Pigment doesn't just. Also, I don't know if these are like certified non-toxic or that. So green is salt, burnt carmine. Interesting. Okay, so now I'm into the browns. This is Van Dyke brown. This is like the old Bob Ross tones, the old school colors. There's brown, Van Dyke brown, and then this is purely brown. Oh, this is terracotta. Pretty close to a terracotta color from my experience with it. My mother being a gardener and all that. And this is gray. All right, and then then I have this slate gray, this Prismacolor. I will put that down because I'm curious. Again, my wife found these at a thrift store, a local thrift store I go to a lot. Go to quite a few of them, and this is the white. I just want to see how it'll show up. It's going to be indentation, or is that? Well, no, there's pigment in there. But we'll find out later, won't we? And then, just for fun, here is the Prisma Bear. Oh wow, quite dark. I don't know how old the Prisma is. And this is the draw. Cool. Now, this is quite a bit long so far, but just wanted to get established everything because, you know, these are vintage, so I wanted to give them their fair shake first. Okay, now that said, let's draw something. Now, I don't really plan on using this one because I want it to be just a Mongol drawing, so I have an idea for what I want to draw, and I'll get to it. Apparently, this is a Guldian, if I'm pronouncing that correct, Guldian finch. Anyway, he's really pretty colors, or yeah, I say he because usually the brighter colors are males. So there's a tealish blue here, and on his, where his throat is, I guess, his thorax area, and then on his back side there's green, and then of course that dark yellow, which is actually kind of nice because that yellow is about that tone, and then there's sort of a violeted blue here. So I'm going to set this down here, and I'm going to try to draw that. I always say try because I never know how it's going to turn out. I will say he is quite colorful, so usually, as I usually say this, I go for the lightest color I can use to sketch him out. I'm trying to envision his little football shape in here, tail and his head, and I kind of compress him a little bit. Can't really use the white pencil, but well, I guess I could try the white pencil. It's something I used to do. Let's say if he's this big, give or take. Now I could turn the picture, but can I see that? Kind of. Beak is here. Yeah, that's not really working. It is laying color down though. That's good. It's a good sign. That's not a good sign. Okay, gonna have to do this the old fashioned. So what I usually do, and I am using the gray here, although we just have red there. So you know what? Tail here. Going very, very lightly. I don't know if I can get him quite as accurate as that, but that's weird. They have like this weird, it's like this little weird whiteness. Cats out there eating crunchies. One of them. Trying to give him some correctness. I don't know. My friend will let me know how terrible this looks. Trying to get this to cut in a little. He won't be exactly like this picture because of how I started drawing him. I really am just testing the color of these pencils. Mostly. You're allowed to make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, just go. If you make a mistake and you don't like what you did, you want to start over again. And by mistake, I mean, like, you know, ruined your drawing. I feel like you spilled coffee on it or something. No coming back. Not because you made some artistic decision, you know, but because you really just can't fix it. Like, okay, fine. He's not quite right. But that's, again, make mistakes. It's fine. Patchiness here. It's a little fatter than he is here. Like I said, it's just a study. You know, the more expensive colored pencils are going to do that. They're going to allow you to cover quote unquote mistakes. It allows you to cover up things that you don't like for whatever reason. Call them mistake, call them whatever you want. I'm not trying to be like after school special about it all the time either. I just mean allow yourself to be free. Just do stuff. I mean, that's how you learn. If you're constantly worried that you're not doing exactly what you see, well, for one thing, you're studying, right? So who cares? You're not going to be good at it for or maybe not for a while. Who knows how long it takes just to work. If you keep considering yourself like you got to be, I mean, if you keep feeling like you have to be perfect every time you do something, you're going to never want to do something. Go do it. I give you permission to fail, much like me. See? So I can always cover this up with the background. He's not perfect. He's kind of leaning forward there, and I kind of have him standing up, and I kind of made him look like a penguin with his body shape. I will fix it, or I won't. Who knows? So the idea is just to kind of, you can kind of turn your head too, by the way. You can just kind of, there. That's more like what he was like to me. Get that form of his head, and then I can take this and erase it out, or we can just color it up with the back. I throw gray on it or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Be really original. Cover it with gray. All right. So now that I have all these colors in here, what I'm going to do is the base color. That's how I usually do it. So I try to get the mid-tone base color in there. Then I can add dark and light. Well, with the colored pencil, you can't really add light on top. You can blend it out with a white pencil. So as long as you're planning for that, you should be okay. And looking at my little card here, which by the way, you know what? I'm going to put this right over here because this is a lot of pencils. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but I'm not a big fan of a lot of selection of pencil anymore. I think I had a set of 24 or 36 or something like that from Faber-Castell at one point. But I noticed I didn't use all of them most of the time. I would blend color. Now I will say having a really nice set of bright colors is good because you can have like traditional, the red, yellow, blue primaries, but the print primaries, the cyan, magenta, and of course yellow and black. You know, having those colors in there, you can have true blacks to blend down and shade down your colors, and then the white for tinting or blending, and then get like a colorless blender. All of that is very, very helpful, but you don't necessarily need a colorless blender. Colorless blender for me just helps to save pigment, and it allows me to just kind of blend certain areas a little easier than having to stack color. It saves a little bit of time. It depends on the look that you're going for too, because it kind of looks smudgy. So it just depends. Okay, so these are in order from the way that I have them staggered. So that means left to right, top, bottom, or I should say right to left, bottom, going this way. So the earliest pencil, this is pink, this red, this pink red. Those two are very hard to tell apart. This is more of a traditional red. Let me see. Scarlet. Yeah, I'm gonna run with that. I'm gonna shut the hell up. once you get that black in there, that's as far as you're gonna take. So I'm trying to stay away from the black for now, except maybe to the eyeball. I like to do the eyeball. I like the eyeball there. Again, these are old, so I don't expect absolute quality behavior from them. Taking it kind of easy, but so far they're okay. I'm not like jumping to the moon for them or nothing, but I don't think bad. Sit still. Trying to get the color off of here. And I probably should shave some of this. Okay, using them as they are for now. All right, and then there's black in there. Let me just actually no, I lied. Let me go ahead and throw this black here. So he's got quite a here. Of course, there's some lightness here. Take kind of artifact. Avoid that. Okay, not a big deal. Just blend that out. So that's the black. This red is very, very faint to this black. That's the darkest black I have. Okay. I mean, if I were to lay this down, I might be able to really dig into this paper, but we're not going to start that yet. I'm not going to try that yet. I'm going to try to get this purple tone in the center body here. That's really nice. I mean, this actually does feel really, really good. And there's this breastbone right here. It looks like sort of a sternum, I'm trying to say. So this is darker on this side, kind of dark. Okay. These feel really soft. Like, you know, they're older. So you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. It reminds me of my bio 2 professor, the Wichita Mirabilis. I'll never forget that. There's a plant that exists in the desert, and you're like, it only has 2 leaves his entire life. And he goes, oh, Mr. Myers, I see more than 2 leaves. That looks like 4. And he's like, well, I'd like to see what you'd look like 2,000 years. And it's silly, but you know, you don't think about stuff like that. It's true. I mean, it is only a 2-leaf plant that lives for a very, very, very long time. Very old. Like old though. Okay, I'm gonna leave him like that for now. This is a little darker here, and a little lighter there. I'm trying to keep it that way. I might blend it out a bit. I'm not sure yet. So we do have this light blue, and as such, we're going to go straight underneath the chinny chin. Now this black comes down quite a more, so let me try to do that on tape. It's whatever. Go from light blue, kind of goes around the top back here. I'm actually not pushing very hard. Maybe medium pressure, not even. I don't feel like. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm pushing harder than I think, but I don't think I am. Okay, so we have different greens. I have this. That's that lime green. Looks nothing like beryl. For the record, this is the lime green. Very, very light color. And then there's sort of this bluish tint green, which is kind of nice because it kind of goes between these colors here on him. And then there's this one. So I think I'm going to go to this one first. I'm going to work my way up, and then I'm going to see if I can get him to sort of blend out. Yeah, again, I'm not trying to burnish. I'm really just going for getting the color laid out. There's sort of a yellowish tint there too. This is almost a bluish tint of green. Emerald green, it says. And then I'm going to go for this yellowy green here. We'll see how these layer. That's the real test. The other pencils that I've tried, one of the most important things, can they blend, can they layer? And these are old. They're vintage. They're from the 50s. If these are to be believed, then that would be incredible if they blend as well, as old as they are. And I think they seem to be okay. They're kind of half tempted to take this off here. I don't really love that look. It's what I designed this for, so design like I did some engineering on it. But you know what I'm saying? See this? Yeah, that's certain artifact. So let me just blacken him a little bit and see if I can get that darker crease out. It's a little rough to get around the camera, but that's okay. Oh, he has red, sort of scarlet, right? Oh, this is red. That was scarlet. So I feel like, see how well they layer, how well they blend, how well they layer, how well they're not. Okay, again, they're old, so giving credit where credit is due, but they're not in the greatest shape. I feel like this has almost a marigold look to it. This is yellow, and this bird is very like kind of looks marigold. I don't know how to describe it. This is a very, very light pigment laying down because again, they're old, so I don't expect them to do as well as maybe they once did. But I'm gonna give them a fair shake though. I'm gonna try my damnedest to make these work because that yellow is not really quite doing it for me. Look at that sky blue again. Well, it's not sky blue, it's light blue, but it does have similar kind of effect. This sky tealish blue, I can't quite really put my finger on. It's like turquoise, basically. Can't seem to get it go. Where's that home? I'm not gonna be able to get it to go that way because I don't have color that is. You can't just make that appear. We're gonna make believe that's correct. You're gonna pretend with me to have some fun. I am gonna try to get that red to be a lot darker than that because this is carmine, which is this color here, but the reddest red that's on here is not red. Cool though. Cool to be drawing with something so old school. If I can get this is the scarlet. I cross it up. Stay still. Then there's a little bit of kind of spoiled with the more expensive pencils, right? But then that's funny because, you know, the more print pencils, as it were. The funny thing is the Hobby Lobby pencils are really good, and those Jot, I was really shocked with those Jot Dollar Tree pencils. Really, really shocked. Color, the blending, kind of crazy. These are old, so you're drawing with history more than anything. A little bit of a nostalgia thing for some people, I suppose. These don't quite have tone. They probably once did, for one thing. Take a liberty here with this color. This is dark blue, so maybe I can throw in, make it like indigo, kind of, just kind of cross-hatching, trying to layer these. I didn't push hard initially. Try to get some of this color in there, kind of blend it, kind of push it around over the best. They're pretty birds, by the way. Very pretty. What color is this? Oh, it's Prussian blue. Whale. I think I'm going to full background this thing. Just kind of cut him in a little bit. Not crazy. And then I'm going to do his little branch he's sitting on too, but just got to get these yellows and stuff in here. Let me see if I can get that yellow. All right, I'm going to do this yellow first. Can always do the striations, little stripes. That's like a dark green. Kind of tone it up a little bit. I'll throw in, like I said, a little more background. Cool. He's getting somewhere. Got some brown tones underneath him a little bit. So I'm do it. Then purple, kind of haphazard. violet. I need to push that white in there. They're layering okay. I get a bit of the doubt and all that. They're old, so but considering how old they are, they're doing a good job. Certainly better than cheap ass pencils I've been using. What do I have? It's taking me forever though. I'm trying to get these colors matched up. Kind of hard to do. That's more me though. I'm also not sure how they're going to behave, so I'm kind of taking my sweet time with it. And for no other reason than I want to, I'm going to throw some more of those darks in there. All right, I'm going to have to put black into his feathers, or actually, I might be able to get away with some purple to really give it like some. Let's see how dark purple. Oh yeah, that's layering fine. Like I said, I got him kind of standing up instead of sitting down. Like he's sort of like kneeling forward, if you will. Trying to contour him a little bit. Yeah, that's as much as I can push that red too. I think I tried. I just cannot get any darker red than that. That's really digging into this. Just that's not very saturated. I can't help that. Can't really help. And otherwise, maybe those little brain. Yeah, it's kind of cool to draw with these. Like I said, it's kind of very old school feel. I learn a new bird every time I do these. I don't even know. Well, I just like pick colorful birds, and then I didn't plan his branch very well. I might orange him up. Yeah, the yellow is quite faint, so I'm gonna have to try to use this other orange, the light orange. That one, I think. I'm not going for realism at all, honestly. I just wanted to see how these would behave. Yeah, they're okay. I mean, again, they're old, so I'm not picking on them too much. It's just that because they're so old, it's kind of hard to weigh how good they are in comparison to a modern kind of pencil. I mean, it's not really fair to compare them to. So again, try not to. Light gonna do anything? Find out. Because normally you can use the white to kind of blend and soften an area, but it is doing that. It's just very, very difficult. Okay, and then maybe do this. I'm just using what's here rather than going and getting my blender. I haven't been using the blender anyway. Like I said, I like to use a blender to put color around, but I've been doing that with these tests because I've been wanting to see how well pencils do on their own without any kind of outside assistance. That is getting kind of whack loom in there, which is expected. So I was able to burnish that. Cool. Means I can go a little harder in this purple here, maybe throw in more blue, possibly. Yeah, that's kind of that's a rough one. Yeah, I'm not gonna have any reason to use this other pencil for anything, so I am just gonna try to use background color. So this is the barrel. I will say the thing that's interesting about these pencils though is that they don't leave like how these Prisma, they're a little bit harder and they're also not as heavy as load and pigment, but they're also kind of, because of that, do you see how this has like this little white speck coming in here and that doesn't? So that's kind of the difference between them. Kind of reminds me of what polychromos do, but not as vibrant. That's just so you can see. I wasn't gonna do the whole background, but I at least want to get here, find some of this space between his like his legs here. There's like a lot of negative base. It's quite fat too, by the way. Like I said, see, we'll cover that easily. I just put this back on the tape so that I can do this easier. See how dark this is? From my understanding, they don't make this pencil either anymore. If anybody wants to use this, will be with it. I'm just going for the gold here. Like I said, it's cool to throw a bit of history. I mean, I personally wouldn't go out of my way for them, but that's just me. There is quite a bit of definition in spaces I just can't quite put them at work. But it's cool. It's cool. I don't mind it. I think it looks okay. May not be the greatest thing saturation-wise, but it is something nonetheless. I'm trying to hold this board so I can really dig, and I cannot get that any more dark than that. Black. It's just not very black. Then again, like I said, going this down here. Like I said, I wasn't really planning on doing that much, but I don't know what those are based in. I don't know if they're mostly oil or they're mostly wax that's been hardened, or like how old they are. They might just be old wax that hardened up over time. Maybe they were smoother. I don't know. I honestly don't know anything about these pencils other than they're older. I did know, I mean, I had heard of them before, but I didn't really know what the fuss was about. So there, I get to say that I did it. Kind of cool. Kind of even look vintage, I guess. Let me just tighten up one more thing, and I will try the white one more time just to say I did it. It is moving around a little bit, certainly burnishing. If you can throw some of this orange in there too, this light orange, some of this to dark, but you have to know what you're looking at in terms of color so that you can, I'm not saying I always do, just I mean is you can tell what you're looking at with colors on the picture. You can get pretty close, like blending color together. Again, not digging that very hard. I'm actually trying to do the opposite, trying to hold back as much as I can so that I can dig in here, the yellow, and then hopefully it'll blend out some more. Get ever so closer to dark. Grab this ochre again and see if you can get that definition in here. Shade them up a little bit. That's about as close as I think I can get them. I can sit here and fiddle part with them all day, but I don't better. Well, I did something. I don't know whether or not you like what I did is a whole nother story. But I did something. There you have it. I can maybe... Cool. That's good as you're going to get for me. I can't get them any darker than that. Well, like I always like to try to do, show you what I did. Here's the character guy. So, yeah, so if you kind of turn him like that, that's kind of what I was going for. I wasn't exactly looking at him like that. I was just kind of winging it. No pun intended. But it was just to try these pencils out. Final verdict. I'm not trying to be hard on them because they're old. If you're just being nostalgic about it, sure. But if you want something high quality to draw with, you should probably spend your money on something else. I don't know how much these go for online. I can only imagine that people who are buying them for nostalgic nostalgic reasons or collector reasons, but to purely draw with, yeah, I don't know. I don't think. I'll just say this. I don't plan on using these again. So that is grain of salt and all. What do I know? No, seriously, I don't plan on using them. So I honestly think Prismacolor is good enough for most people in terms of like, if you're going to do a coloring book, or if you're just learning how to use colored pencils for some reason, or if you're getting serious with colored pencils. I think Prismas are a good way to go because they layer well enough, they blend, they do all the things that you need them to do. Quality can be kind of hit or miss sometimes in terms of the breakage and stuff in some people's. In their case, I've never had that problem. As long as you use a manual sharpener and you're slow and deliberate, then I haven't ever had a problem with them. But I think I will be giving these to someone else because I don't plan on using them. Anyway, if you made it this far, I very much appreciate it. Not much else I can say about it. There's Mr. Bird. This is a Gouldian finch again. I think I'm saying that correct. I could be saying it wrong. I don't know. If you made it this far, thank you again. And if you haven't already, subscribe please for more ridiculous review type stuff like this, or who knows what's in store. Like, comment, share, because anything helps. I appreciate it. Peace.